Hey guys, it's Appleminte. Welcome back again to my channel. Happy Friday. And for today's video, I actually saw a bunch of people recently asking me to do videos on drawing birthstones as people, and some people asking me to do desserts as people. And so I put it up to a poll for you guys to vote, and the overwhelming winner was birthstones as people for this week's video. So that is what I am doing. And I will be sketching and drawing all of these digitally. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But for the first birthstone that I'm drawing, I am doing February's birthstone, Amethyst. I guess it was fitting because it's February right now, so I might as well start there. But I also just really like purple in general, and I really wanted to make a whole design around the color purple because really that's all I'm going off of for these. I'm not really taking any kind of personality traits. It's not like when I did the horoscopes as people or star signs, whatever you want to call that. It's not like that because usually people have descriptions for example, how a Virgo acts or how a Sagittarius acts. So this is a little bit different than that. I'm not going off of any personality traits, and if personality traits come with birthstones, I have no idea, but I don't think that they do, and I'm not going by that anyway. I'm just going by what I feel for each color. So for Amethyst, I wanted to make her very dreamy looking because I really do think that the color purple in this sense, at first I was thinking maybe I could make her a little bit more royal, maybe a little bit more regal, because purple is usually associated with royalty. However, I wanted to take it in a different direction, and I wanted to make her very dreamlike. So kind of like very pastel, maybe incorporating a little bit of blue and pink hues in here, but really just mainly trying to stick to purple. For all of these birthstones in general, they're centered around one color typically, right? So I don't want to introduce too many other colors into the drawing because I think that would stray way too much from the original color and just like the whole purpose of my design. But at the same time, I don't want to make literally everything just, different shades of purple. So I'm definitely trying to add some different colors in there that I think would complement it nicely. So I really wanted to give her almost like little space bun afro puffs on her hair and have the other half of her hair down, but almost make it look like it's kind of like a cloud. Because like I said, I really wanted to make her very dreamlike. And if you saw in my planning sketch that I did in the beginning, I put clouds on her dress. I plan on giving her like a cloud print. So I think that her hair kind of mirroring that is a cute little nod to that overall. So yeah, I was trying to make her look very dreamy and almost like she's kind of sitting and just kind of wandering off in her own thoughts. I imagine her to be somebody who constantly just likes to sit and daydream, and she's just kind of deep in thought all the time, but not really thinking too hard, just kind of whimsical. That's the the vibe I get from her. So one thing I actually thought of doing, and you can kind of see it in my sketch there, where it looks like she's got a little leotard on almost underneath her dress. When I drew this pose, I was like, okay, well, her legs, most of them are going to be covered by the dress. And so I didn't want it to look confusing as to what her pose was with the dress, because she's sitting with one leg out and the other leg is tucked underneath her. And I wasn't sure if that would not come across or if it would come across kind of weird. Yeah, I was thinking at first of maybe making the dress kind of see-through, and then you could see through to like a leotard or another layer underneath. But then I figured, I don't know, I think that would be a little too much, especially because I was planning on doing a cloud pattern on her dress, and I was already planning on doing a gradient with the colors. So I didn't want to make this too crazy to look at and like too much detail going on the dress area. And so I decided against making it see-through. Another thing I knew I wanted to incorporate here was really big round glasses. And of course I made them purple. And I think that's a really cute touch, especially to give something a little bit more going on her face, and also kind of mirroring the roundness of her hair on top. So just kind of like mirroring patterns and shapes across the piece to bring things together a little bit more in subtle ways, if that makes sense. Those are the kinds of things I like to think about. And so when it came to actually putting the colors, like I said, I didn't want to add, you know, just straight up purple, but I did want to mostly use purples, but then add some variations. So some of the frills on her dress are more leaning toward a very light bluish purple, whereas her hair is kind of more on the very dark grayish bluish purple side. It's not like just directly a dark purple. I think that would have been too much. But I think where things get broken up a little bit more is when I actually start adding the pattern to the dress, because, you know, everything's pretty much a solid color up until then. So I think that kind of helps bring something a little bit more interesting into the design. And I'm very happy with how she turned out. I am really happy with my decision to do these digitally, and I'll talk a little bit more about why I decided to do that in as I'm drawing the next girl. But yeah, I really like how she came out, and I hope you do too. I just really like the color purple, and I love amethysts in general. So this is my interpretation of her, and I hope you like her. Let me know what you think of her in the comments below. And now on to the next birthstone. So the next birthstone that I wanted to draw is Ruby. So that is July's birthstone. And I think that Ruby is a good contrast from Amethyst because the colors are pretty different. This is going to have a very red color palette where the other one was purple. So I wanted to play around with a different color scheme here and a whole different, I guess, idea for her design in general. So when I was thinking Ruby, I was thinking something a little bit more fiery and a little bit more intense, but not literal fire, just somebody a little bit more intense and serious. And I don't know why, but the idea of having her kind of be almost like a dualist, you know, a protector kind of figure came into my mind. And then I was kind of thinking maybe she's like the protector to Amethyst. She's like her royal at her right hand kind of thing, if that makes sense. I don't know the word for what I'm thinking of, but anyway. I wanted to make her design almost like she looks like she's ready to fight. She's ready to go fencing, but also not really, you know, that she's kind of very regal and she's got a very serious look to her overall, but she still has some fun elements to her outfit, some things that are flowy. So like I wanted to give her a little bit of kind of like a frill in the front, but it's also see-through. And then also her sleeves are very puffy. And so it all kind of, you know, comes together in that sense. And then I really wanted to give her very long hair, whereas I gave the other character shorter, poofier hair. I wanted to give Ruby much longer, straighter hair, but also kind of crazy on top with a lot of like spikiness coming out and uneven ends in her ponytail. But I did say I wanted to talk a little bit why I did these in Procreate rather than traditionally with my markers. And typically I would sit down with my markers and I would film this on my table, but I wanted to do something different for today because I really wanted to add a lot more detail and fine detail into these pieces. And I find that when I do digital work, it's a lot easier for me to do that. However, it takes me usually double or triple the time to do a digital art piece rather than sitting down with my markers and doing a traditional art piece, just because there's a lot more fine detail and things just take a little bit longer, at least for me, to do in digital artwork. So as much as it took me longer, I tried to shorten my process a little bit by not getting too hung up on making everything exactly perfect like I normally would. Normally when I do a digital art piece, it'll take me anywhere between 8 and 12 hours, usually minimum, unless it's like a really quick thing for like 6 hours, but even then, 6 hours. I don't usually do these very fast, whereas a traditional piece, I will be maybe about, I don't know, depending what it is, anywhere between an hour and 3 hours. So I work much faster traditionally, but there's a lot less fine detail in the work. So I hope that the effort I put into these comes across because I really did spend a lot of time on these. I think I would say I spent at least 4 or 5 hours on each. So I hope you like their designs. I'm really happy with them. But I know some of the things, like not all the details are perfect. Like I probably would have put a lot more shading and lighting effects into them if I had all the time in the world, but I didn't, because it's for a video. I only have so much time to work on these. But anyway, for Ruby's pose, I wanted to kind of make her on the ground, kind of like pledging her loyalty to somebody. I guess in this case it would be Amethyst if she's her protector. But yeah, I just wanted to give her that kind of pose, like she's ready to fight if she needs to, but she's kind of just at your side. That's the kind of air I wanted to give her. So for the reds, at first I wasn't sure about adding another color in here because as I did with Amethyst, even though I did some variations of purple, like I did some that were more on the bluey side and more on the pink side, I stuck in the, the realm of purple. Here, while I mostly stuck in the realm of red, even for the pants, I did almost like a reddish, pale reddish grayish color. I did add gold accents in here, which is just a completely different color altogether. But I think that that was a good move because it did help break up some of the color without it being too different. It's still within the warm color tones that she has here, but it's not, I think if they were like a light pink, it would have been not the right vibe I was going for. And because she's more royal, I think adding a little bit of gold in there as an accent color and not like a main color was a good move. So I'm really happy with how she came out overall. And both of these together were a lot of fun to do. I really want to make more of this series particularly because I think it's just really fun, and I think I would want to do them digitally again so I could have these pieces, in very high quality that I can upload and just have. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below of my 2 drawings. Let me know who is your favorite, and if you like this series, let me know if you want to see it again and if you enjoy watching me draw digitally in my process. And as always, I have all of my links in the description box below. I have the link to my online store, my Patreon pin club, my Instagram page, and my Discord server if you're interested in joining. And thank you guys, as always, so much for watching my videos. I will see you all next Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time as always. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.